Well, who told you? Great. $27 for 2.
Brilliant.
Hey, what was that?
Can't see anything.
Something flashing from that first window on the first floor. Find out who's staying there. And don't let me catch you listening to that on duty.
I'm sorry, I understand he was a friend, is that right?
That's right. So?
He died in the night. He was electrocuted. My guess is he'd taken some sedatives as well.
Tell me, do you know anything about patterns of suicide? I mean, is it normal? I mean, do people normally, don't they do it at home? I mean, do they have to go somewhere else to do it?
Sorry, I don't know.
But you do think it was suicide?
I think it'd be very difficult to ask somebody to lie still while you put a live electric cable in their mouth.
Unless he was asleep or unconscious.
His wife is upstairs, you know.
Yes, I'm just going.
She's a radio presenter, isn't she?
Is she? I don't know. Anyway. Do you have any plans for later?
Oh, I'll be in the lab.
Well, another time.
Okay.
Mrs. Dawn?
Yes.
My name is Morse.
Hello.
Your husband and I were students together.
Really? I'm sorry, I thought you were a policeman.
I am. I'm very sorry.
This was his room, wasn't it? When he was an undergraduate.
For a time, I think. And then we shared a house together, actually. So we were quite...
Really? I didn't know.
I had a drink with him the night before last. No, we weren't... I hadn't kept in touch, so I imagine that's why you didn't. There was no reason.
Apparently, they used to... Well, you'll know this. You're supposed to write your name somewhere in the room if you lived here. I've been looking. Can't find it. It's coffee. I hate coffee. It's a headache.
Oh, God, Cradston, I might have known it was you. Still can't drive, I see.
Rowley! Is this yours? Thought you were grounded, sir.
Not quite yet. But come on, give me a hand.
Pleasure. How's tricks?
Look, I don't need that.
Oh, right, eh? Sorry I'm a bit late. One or two distractions on the old heart front, sir. Good to see you. Everything all right?
Tony Don committed suicide last night.
You're joking?
No, I'm not. He electrocuted himself. Kate! Kate, I'm so sorry. I can't believe it.
I don't know what to say.
There's nothing to say.
I only just arrived. I had no idea.
Well, I've got to go inside. It's question time.
Yes.
Hello?
Hello, Roland.
Hello. I'm sorry, do we know each other?
Roland, this is Chief Inspector Morse.
Oh, I see. Morse? It's pagan Morse, isn't it? It is. My God, it is as well. And you're a policeman.
I'm afraid so.
Well, there's a turn-up for the book.
It's good to see you.
Yes, absolutely. Not the best of...
No, that's right. Look, I'm taking Mrs. Dawn for a walk, but we'll talk, you and I.
Oh, yes, please. This is Vince Cranston, by the way.
Mr. Cranston. Inspector. If you'll excuse me.
Goodbye.
Chin up, Kate.
How do you know him?
Lonsdale man. He knew Tony Dunn very well in the old days. Last person you'd imagine doing that job. I imagine he's good, clever. Drinks. Or used to. Pagan Morse. Really is a turn-up for the book.
Pagan? Why pagan? What's all that about?
I prefer Morse, plain and simple. But when I came up to Oxford and wouldn't say what my Christian name was, somebody called me pagan, and it stuck for a while.
I think I prefer Morse.
Thank you. So do I. This looks more like it.
I hope so.
I have to ask you a few questions.
Of course. Tony didn't kill himself.
What makes you say that?
I just know. We didn't have the greatest marriage in the world. It could be very difficult, but I just know he wouldn't. Just know he wouldn't.
Do you have any idea why he might have been carrying a gun?
Tony? I don't believe it.
He had a gun in his luggage.
Tony wouldn't know one end of a gun from the other.
Did your husband have any enemies?
No. No, I don't think so. I mean, obviously, I'm sure there are people who didn't. But not enough to... No. What kind of a gun? I don't believe this. I don't believe this is happening. The children. I must call the children. They won't know where I am. What's happening? Excuse me, I must find a telephone.
Don't worry. Don't worry. They're with your mother. Everything's been taken care of.
My mother. Right. Thanks. You know, I feel a little... I think I feel a little...
Thank you. Cheers. This stuff is so potent. I always hope it might get the old leg and arm twitching again.
How is it,
Oh, all right. One learns to live with it. Or rather, one doesn't. Actually, it's a swine. Yes, it's a swine.
Yes.
Well, pagan, here you are.
Here I am. Tell me about Anthony Dawn. I can't see the Anthony Dawn I knew committing suicide, can you?
Makes more sense than someone killing him. I mean, why?
Well, I was hoping you might tell me that because I think someone did kill him.
Really?
And I'm a pedestrian sort of copper. I say to myself, a man comes to Oxford to play cricket with old friends and gets murdered. And then I remember reading some statistic or other about how most murders are committed by someone the victim knows. And I put these things together, and I come up with 11 suspects.
10.
And you. 11. Anyway, Rowley, I have a plan, and I need your help.
As long as I'm not going to be arrested.
Well, on the nobody changes much theory, I think you get parole.
Okay, fire ahead. How can I help?
Well, hey, you've been practicing with your mum, haven't you?
I'm impressed, Sergeant. I think you'll do very well.
I think it's a crazy idea.
Really? I thought it would be a fantasy come true.
What about the other bit?
You have to take the rough with the smooth.
Our Val will have something to say about the decorating line.
We'll take care of that. It's only fair. You just keep practicing.
When do I start?
Oh, I think Mr. Barker's expecting you any time now.
Whoa!
Now, there is no question but that the festival will continue. Apart from the European end, which must go ahead, we have a game to play here.
Seems a little indecent to me, carrying on playing cricket after what's happened.
I don't agree. Tony Dunn was a dear friend of mine. We were fellow students together while you were still bowling at your high chair. But packing up and going home isn't going to change anything.
Rowley, are the police going to allow us to go abroad while they're carrying out their investigations?
They better. Now, come on, Clarence. We owe it to Tony to put up a decent show.
What about the team, Roll? We're a man short.
Ah, well, I was coming to that. It so happens Arnold has a couple of porters this year who are quite handy. I've had a word with Barker, and he's prepared to cover for one of them. Bit of an all-rounder. I've asked him to come down for a net.
Porter?
Well, why not? He qualifies. Any man who can hit the ball off the middle of the bat is a gentleman in my book.
I never met a porter who could bat. They can block. Blocking. In the bone with porters, say?
Enough chat. Let's get your boots on and get outside. Hello? Oh, hello, Louis. Gentlemen, I'd like you to meet your new teammate.
I wish you'd stay and have a proper lunch.
No, I have to get back. This is perfect. Great, thank you.
Find anything?
Not really. I'll have to go over to his office later.
The thing is, you know, I can't think why any of his clients... It's not as if you're in criminal law or anything. Why should any of his clients want to... I can understand if it were me. I'm always treading on toes on the programme. But Tony... I mean, it was matrimonial law. Never commercial work. He was always complaining how mundane it was.
Well, love and money are the most common motives, but yes, I know what you mean.
I suppose so.
What about the partners? Were there ever any problems?
No, none that I knew of. The reverse.
But you said to me he was a difficult man. What did you mean?
I think he sometimes resented my career. He could get angry. He was quite a conventional man. I don't know. Perhaps he was unhappy. Perhaps the fact that I didn't realize was one of the reasons he was unhappy. I feel I didn't know him at all. Perhaps he did. I keep thinking about that gun. He hated guns. So maybe he bought it to... And then he couldn't. So... I'm sorry.
It's fine.
The children children are so miserable and I don't know what to say to them.
I know.
My mother's going to take them home with her so I can come up to the inquest, and then... And I must keep working. I feel I must work.
I think you're right.
Do you? Thank you. It's so nice.
Really? Just as I was thinking of trading myself in.
Well, I must get on. Leave you.
Okay. There was one thing. Anthony mentioned a book he'd been reading. It was yours, I think. I wondered if I could look at it.
What book was this?
It was something to do with Zen Buddhism. He'd been reading it.
Really? I can't think.
Well, he said you were very interested in that area.
Well, I am.
He told me a story from it, something to do with a man seeking knowledge from a master, and something about the sound of one hand clapping.
Oh, yes, that's right. That's where it went. It was a present, it was given to me, and then I couldn't find it. Tony must have.
What was the title? Do you remember?
I'm sorry, I can't. I didn't have it for very long. Why? Might that be important?
I don't know. I stumble around. That's what I do. Sometimes I stumble in the right direction. However Anthony died, there had to be a reason. Either somebody else had a motive or he did.
Well, I'll try and remember.
Might you ask the person who gave it to you?
Yes, of course. That's the obvious. It was a girlfriend. I'll telephone her.
And would you telephone me if you need anything?
Yes.
Or even if you don't?
Okay.
Oh, hello.
Sir?
No Barker?
Mr. Barker's off today. Can I help you? I'm Lewis.
Lewis? I haven't seen you before.
No, that's right. Spot a leave. We all take a turn during the vacation.
Catching up with the decorating.
I'm sorry?
You've got paint on your hands.
Oh, yes. Oh, sorry about that.
I'm Peter Foster, by the way. I'm borrowing your library, doing a little book on the EEC.
Oh, yeah?
Hobby of mine. Now, I came to ask Barker if he'd mind terribly lending me his master key. And actually, Lewis, I'm rather glad he's not here, because this is the second time this week I've locked myself out. I'll tell you what it is. There's only one key for our room. Every time Philippa goes out, I forget to leave the lock on the latch, and then it's quite ridiculous. Would you mind?
Well, you'd like me to come and open your room?
Well, that's it. Although I can do it myself. Save you the bother, run up and straight back.
Fair enough. Would you mind hanging on just a second, sir? There you go, Mr. Foster. Would you mind bringing them straight back to the lodge?
Absolutely. 2 minutes.
Keep your head down, Mr. Barker. I'll be right back. Tell me, which staircase does our friend Foster live on?
East.
Lost his sense of direction along with his key.
Thank you, Lewis. And not a word to Barker, or he'll shoot me.
Don't worry.
Good man.
Are you going to arrest him?
What for?
He told you a lie.
I told him lots of lies.
Very fishy. But I'll tell you something else for nothing. The woman he's with, I'm positive they're not married.
What makes you say that?
Well, there's a big song and dance about a couple staying. I'm not fond of it myself. But anyway, I get the bedder to put the beds together because they're supposed to be man and wife. And the bedder comes to see me the next day and says the beds have been pushed apart again. Well, it's very fishy because she's a very handsome woman.
We're in.
No, we're not. You were followed all the way to the staircase.